This is the doctrine that people don't really know and understand about. First of all, let me give you the background of where this comes from, and you've heard some of this. There's this guy named William Miller who's a Baptist back in the early 1800s, and he was reading his Bible and putting together a lot of different verses, but one key verse is this one here, Daniel 8:14. In the New American Standard says, "And he said unto me, for 2,300 evenings and mornings, then the holy place will be properly restored." Or the sanctuary would be cleansed, the way I think other versions say. He takes this as a prophecy that in 2,300 years from the decree of rebuilding Jerusalem, from 2,300 years from there, the holy place would probably be restored, meaning Jesus would be coming back. So he puts this all together and he develops this timeline. Between March 21st, 1843 and 1844, Christ would be coming back, based on Daniel 8:14 and other passages. He puts this together and thousands of people jump into what I call Miller's stream. They agree with him, they think he's great, what he's teaching is wonderful, and they start following what he's teaching. Well, March 21st, 1844 comes and goes. Nothing happens, and people are disappointed. Miller is still staying strong, though. Even a week afterwards, he's still thinking that the end is coming. The end is coming close. Well, after this, in August, this guy here, Samuel Snow, gives another prediction. He says the date's October 22nd, 1844. That's going to be the real date. When that date comes, then Christ is coming back, and we know for sure this is going to happen. He announces this date, everybody jumps on board. Okay, we have the new date. October 22nd comes and goes, and nothing happens. They call this date the Great Disappointment, which you can imagine. People are weeping and wailing and falling apart. The great disappointment, Christ did not come back. Imagine yourself expecting Christ to come back. You would quit your job. You would, what would you do if you thought Christ was coming back in the next week or the next month? Probably wouldn't be doing laundry, right? You'd probably quit your job. I mean, who wants to be doing laundry right before Christ comes back, you know? Man, I wasted that day. Or whatever. The great disappointment, nothing happened. Now from here, as I've shown you before on our talk about Millerism, there's an explosion of people going off in many different directions. We get strains of people shooting off that end up being the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Worldwide Church of God with Herbert W. Armstrong, Church of God of the Abrahamic Faith. Many different groups blow up from here because a lot of these groups are trying to find what is the real date. But some groups did something different. What they did is they said, the date was right, but what we were expecting was wrong. And Seventh-day Adventist Church is one of them. And this is how they did it. A guy named Hiram Edsons, after the Great Disappointment, he's walking through his fields, just utterly shaken up and disappointed that nothing happened. And then he has a vision. In his vision, he sees Christ came into this different place, this different compartment in heaven to start a new work. And that's what happened on October 22nd, was Christ started some kind of new work in heaven. So they were right on the date, but they were wrong on what was supposed to happen, according to this vision that he had. Well, he starts to write about his vision and what he saw. This guy here, Joseph Bates, this is another key founder of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. In 1847, he starts to read of Edsons' visions, and he said, this is great. This is like the best of anything I've ever seen to explain what happened. So he takes this to one of his ministry associates, Ellen White. Ellen White reads this, and she has a vision that endorses Edsons' vision. And now this becomes one of the hallmarks of Seventh-day Adventist doctrine.